going on, everybody? As you can see, I am doing the movie review for Joker, Folie or Deux, or Joker 2, or Joker Madness for 2. Whatever his name you want to go with. I say that because it's a fascinating Folie or Deux. It's a fascinating medical thing to me. So when they named it Joker Folie or Deux, I instantly knew why. Because I know what the real life medical term for Folie or Deux, or I know what the disease, what the mental illness is. So uh, I'm gonna kick off this review by saying, if you are a fan of the first Joker movie, you're probably not gonna like this movie at all. Um, as you can see from my review, it's a little late. But as you can see from the reviews, most people don't like this movie. But I want to tell you in a shortly why you not liking the reviews the reviews that you've seen where people not liking the movie is actually a good thing, because that's exactly what Tom Phillips, or what I know his last name is Phillips, the dude, he's the one who directed both the first Joker movie and this movie. That's exactly what he wanted for this movie. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So the people, I will say this though, the people who would like this movie are the people who like. There's going to be a select few people out of the people who did like the first movie. So out of everybody who liked the first movie, there might be just a small select few, like a small select few of people who would like this movie, and I'm one of them. A little bit. I'm one of them a little bit, or partially, and I'm gonna explain why I say that. So this movie takes place 2 years after the events of Joker. And as you've seen in the trailers, Joker is on trial for his murders and everything that he committed in the first movie. And the meat and bones of this movie is about him meeting Harley Quinn. And he meets Harley Quinn during his time at Arkham Asylum. Um, but it's not called Arkham Asylum in the movie, but it is still called Arkham. The first part of it is still called Arkham. It's just not named Arkham Asylum. I think it's Arkham State Hospital or something like that. Yeah, Arkham State Hospital. And but if when you any all the information, like when you look up like the history of the Arkham in the comic books and stuff on any wiki, they would say that Joker's movie, both the first movie and this movie, has the real life live action rendition of the Arkham Asylum. But the only difference is that they changed it from Arkham Asylum to Arkham State Hospital. So, and I think it was like that too for the Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, or Robert Pattinson's Batman movie. One of those movies, or the Ben Affleck, are those three people. I think one of them had the same name too. That was Arkham State Hospital. Um, but yeah, so he meets her as you saw in the trailer, as he's walking past. That's like she's in some type of music class, and this is where the musical part is. As we all know, they said this movie was going to be a musical, and that is because through them and the title Folie Deux, uh, it kind of at first I thought this would be a huge mistake making it a musical, but then once I saw the movie, I was like, oh, okay, that's what they mean by it being a musical. And I mean that doesn't mean I'm like, oh, okay, it's not a musical. No, it's a musical, but it's not a musical in what you would think it is. Like, at least if I guess you could say, when you hear somebody say, "Oh, it's a musical," you would think musical means it's just singing from beginning to end. It is not, but it is a musical in the sense there are a lot of scenes or a lot of things that burst into musicals. But while I wouldn't choose, while I wouldn't choose the musical, and I'm gonna get to why the musical part is a negative for me too, but it's also a positive. The musical aspect of this, when I get to the part where I always give my negatives and positives of the movie, I will give you an early hint or an early one is that the musical is both a negative and a positive, and I will explain why later. But yeah, so basically he meets her. There are a few musicals set there, well not a few. I want to say there's not a lot either, but there's enough spread out from the beginning to end. So there's quite a few musical numbers in here. But I understood what the story they were trying to choose. I just wouldn't have chose it because I don't like musicals all like that. But at the same time, I do appreciate the fact that it does fit here. Um, so yeah, so he's basically on trial, and uh, it explores his relationship with Harley Quinn while also explore what it means to the public and to the public and the perception of everybody of the Joker. Um, or the Joker is it Arthur is it Arthur Fleck or is it the Joker? Um, and you're gonna understand what I mean when I say is it one or the other. That is a hint into what I mean by the perception of the Joker, um, Arthur Fleck or the Joker. Um, but um, I can't really say more about the movie because other than that, that's basically what it is. It's a movie about him being on trial. The basic premise is he's on trial for the things he did in the first movie, and they explore his love romance between him and Harley Quinn, and whether or not what's the perception of the Joker to everybody else. What's the difference between the Joker and Arthur, and to himself. So with that being said, now I'm going to get into the positives and negatives. Um, the positive, everything was well acted. For the most part, uh, Jacqueline Phoenix. I almost say his name. Well, he was perfect or not perfect, but he was Jacqueline Phoenix. He acted. He did the Joker, the basically to my standards. So it wasn't watered down from the first movie, but they did do something to him that would make you not like him. That's the part, and I'm gonna get to why I say that. But for the most part, he was still the Joker. Um, the one that was a positive, but the negative I will say about that is that we didn't get to spend we spend more time with Arthur than we did the Joker in this movie. So like it wasn't a lot of scenes with him in the face paint as Joker. It was like there's like I would say that like yeah, you're spending the majority of the movie with him and just regular him, and then there's a few scenes with him actually uh with the Joker face paint, and that's the reason why I say that's a negative because if you go see the movie, you will understand why I say when we do get the Joker that him being him actually with the face and stuff on. I'm saying it's a negative because once you actually get him with the face and stuff on, the way how they choose to do it is kind of like, well, you did it this way, but then when you do it when you did it this way, okay, you get the regular argument. But when we get Joker, you choose to do it in a way where it's like okay, and then when we do get him the way we thought where we actually think we're gonna get him, it's only for like maybe one or it's only for maybe like one or two scenes. So and I can't spoil because to say what I mean will spoil it. So I'm trying to like hint at why I say the way how they choose to actually have him with the face paint on and show him in the movie with the actual face paint and be the Joker is kind of disappointing because for the most part it didn't feel like it was a Joker movie because we didn't really get to see a lot of him as Joker. but we spent the movie. Apostle, like I said, was the movie. Everybody acted well. I enjoy everything. I enjoy the guy who played Harvey Dent, and yes, there's Harvey Dent does show up. And I'm going to tell you why he shows up in a minute. Because why he shows up goes into the next thing I want to say is the other negative I had is the pacing. And the reason why the pacing is a negative because the movie is one half romance. Is the movie in small? I won't even say one half. In small portions, the movie is a romance between him and Harley Quinn, but it's overshadowed by the fact that half the movie spends rehashing and answering questions which is okay to, which is not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing too. For me, that's a positive that we actually do answer the questions. The negative is that we spend almost too much of the movie rehashing and answering questions from the first one, and then the other half is like a court drama type thing. So, so it's like that's another one that's a positive, and the negative is the pacing is a negative, but is the one positive out of that is that we do get some answers, we do get some clarifications from the first one, but they spend so much time doing it that it's like, was this really truly a sequel? Like, come on. But no, it was that's so the pacing is a negative. Um, Another negative I would say is outside of like when we're not focusing on the love between Harley Quinn and Joker or Arthur Fleck. Um, Lady Gaga don't really have much to do in the movie. She really don't. Like I understood when people say she really don't have much to do. I'm like, she can't not really have not much to do. But then I'm like, oh wait, she really does it outside. I mean, she's entertaining. Don't get me wrong, because that's a positive. She was one of the positives that as she's good as Harley Quinn. The negative is that it's only when she's actually getting something to do is because outside of the fact that you got Lady Gaga in this movie and she's only have significant presence and stuff when you focus on the love story. And because we don't focus on the love story enough, it seems like she don't have nothing to do because once we outside of that, she really don't she's there sometimes, but it's like she's not really a prominent presence unless we go back to the love story, circle back around that. So the acting was good, the pacing was bad. It was bad that you have her in the movie and she really doesn't have nothing to do. But it was good that she was in the movie. So that's another positive. It was a negative that you have her in the movie with nothing to do, but it was positive that you have her in the movie because she did perform well as Harley Quinn. Um, the overall premise of the movie is a negative, and I say that is because some of y'all is not gonna like how this movie ends and how they chose it to end. And I do agree with those sentiments because once I got to the end, I was like, yeah, I see why people say like you kind of make the first movie redundant, and you understand that if you watch the movie. If you've seen the first movie and you watch this movie, you understand why people say, "Oh, it makes the first movie pretty much redundant and pointless." And it really does. I can't say it doesn't. It really does make the first movie kind of pointless. The way how they chose to do this movie and basically how they ended. Um, because for all intents and purposes, we go through everything in this movie, and nothing really gets resolved. Like nothing gets resolved in terms of what you set up, at least for what this movie's climax would be. And the way how you chose to end it was like, okay. But yeah, like so to recap again, acting was good, visuals was good, Lady Gaga was good as Harley Quinn, and the story was somewhat good. But the fact that the pacing was bad, the fact that you didn't really have nothing for Lady Gaga to do outside of the love story, the ending kind of made the whole thing seem the whole movie itself and the first movie seemed redundant. Um, it is. I think I'm trying to figure out was it anything else. Um, and oh yeah, and the rehashing, the too much rehashing of the first movie to where it made this movie barely a sequel. So with that being said, I would give, and there's no post credit scene. So and the way how they ended the movie, I could tell you right now there won't be a Joker. And once you see, if you see the movie, you understand why I said it won't be Joker. Um, but I would give this movie a 6 out of 10. Big ups. Yes, I do know that means that I enjoyed it enough to buy it on DVD. Um, but I will clarify when I say a movie is a 6 out of 10, which means that yes, anything a 6 or above means that it was good enough for me to buy on DVD. That doesn't mean I would actually will buy it on DVD. Just because I say it's a 6, that don't mean I will buy it on DVD. That means I can see myself buying it, and I might buy it, but that don't mean I'm going to buy it. But anything that's a 7 and up guarantees that I will buy it. A 6 just means I'm gonna think about it. Kind of probably will, probably won't. But if it's a 7 and up, I definitely got it. But yeah, it wasn't. I know some people gave it a 5 or a low and say it was like either mediocre or mid and lower. But to me, it was average, above average movie. I wasn't totally bored with it. I wasn't totally like disgusted by it, but I will say this: the first movie was better. And that before I end this video, I would get to the point of the reason why I say this is I almost forgot that part. Um, so the director purposely made this movie to antagonize us. That's why it also got a 6 for me because the fact that I didn't like this movie to an extent means that the director did his job because at me doing my research on this movie, I found out that he purposely made this movie to make the character Joker seem sad and pathetic and or not like the Joker we see in the first movie because I guess he didn't want people to see him as a hero and people who liked the movie and saw him as a hero and all that type of good stuff about the first movie, he wanted to purposely antagonize us with this movie. So he purposely made this movie to make us hate it. That's why he also chose the musical portion of it because that not only the musical but that there are some scenes where they sing off key to make you be like, oh man, it's kind of like y'all all off key and stuff. He did that. Everything he did, everything that you don't like about this movie, he did on purpose. Basically, I'm not even gonna get into the whole article, the whole section about how he did it, but just know that it all summarized to this: everything that you hate about the movie, he purposely did that on purpose. Like he purposely did that. So whatever you don't like about the movie, just know that he did his job then because that's exactly what he wanted. Everything that you can say is bad, he purposely put in there for you to say is bad. Because he did not want people to come out this movie liking it just like they liked the first one. He wanted you to come out this movie hating it, which I guess, hey, you did the job then. Because you either hate it or there was a lot of stuff that you didn't like about it, and you can say, well, it's not as good as the first one. And that's what he wanted. So that's it. That's my review of Joker, Folie or Deux. Yeah, it was a above average movie. If I do buy it on DVD, that means it's a movie I might sometimes watch, but it's not a movie I need to watch again. But I might sometimes watch it if I feel like I want to watch it. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed my review of this, you hit this button right here for all of my movie reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much, you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, and do all those great things because we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and I need you guys' help to do so. And as always, hit one of these videos for more of my amazing content. Peace.